Hello, welcome to another episode of Forgotten Cemeteries, Pacific Northwest. Actually, we should say abandoned forgotten cemeteries. This one's in a really rough state. Today, we're at Halls Ferry Cemetery, located in Salem, Oregon, Marion County. Alternative names of this one include Frohamander, La Foliette, Riverview, and simply South. There is a road called South River near this location, so let's go meet some of the local residents and hear their story. A little bit of history about this cemetery. It was established in 1875 with 0 to 25 burials per the Oregon Burial Site Guide. Find a grave is shown around 23 memorials, so a pretty tiny one. Name origins comes from a man named Milton Hale who immigrated to Oregon from Kentucky. He's not buried here, but at Masonic Cemetery in Lynn County. Coincidentally, there's a Smithson Hale Cemetery in Lynn County as well, an important family in the area. Milton came to Oregon in 1845 and was the first settler in Lynn County. When he came here, he lived along the Centennium River and noted the stream was too high in this area, so he built a ferry with very little tools. All he had apparently was like an axe, something called an adze, which is sort of the opposite of an axe, and the blade is perpendicular. This tool apparently goes back to the Stone Age. Other tools Milton used were an auger and a pocket knife. So he must have been a pretty skilled guy to build a ferry boat with very little tools. And that ferry boat would be the first on the stream in that area. Records also show that he also established a city called Syracuse, but nothing ever came of it. I've seen it mentioned like literally once in an old book and nothing more. It's just gone from history like it never existed. But in 1865, he owned a ferry service that would travel across the Willamette River at Albany. The Albany Bridge now resides there. I also did read his daughter Jane Hale, who was born in 1846, was most likely the first white child born in Lynn County. And she's buried at Smithson Hale Cemetery as well. And I was thinking about a future visit there, but it appears there's like electrical fence surrounding the cemetery. So I'll have to do a little more research. As far as this cemetery, a lot of missing markers, vandalism, and lost time, and just lost in time. Reports say there's like 5 headstones left and 3 are marked. I see 2 in front of me. Croshaw appears to be the most popular name in this cemetery, and the last burial I believe was of a Mary Nelson Croshaw in 1969. From there, the cemetery fell in disarray, I'm guessing, and was abandoned at a certain point, and I think it's still abandoned now. There's kind of like garbage surrounding it and paint cans. One report did say there's an old Vietnam vet who used to take care of this cemetery, but I'm unsure if that's still going on. I guess we'll find out for ourselves once we start looking around. So a lot of unmarked individuals, and our first stop will be Frank Jones, and sadly he has no marker, but we are seeing these little plates. They're kind of all over the place, but there's nothing on them. But Frank was born in 1858 in Iowa, but we're more interested in his father, Griffin William Jones. Someone on Find a Grove posted that he was he was the first to drive a team across the Columbia River of the old steam ferry, and he also drove the first buggy across the interstate. What interstate, I can't tell you, but it seemed like an important part of Oregon-Washington history. Our next stop is another unmarked individual, and that would be James J Skalon. Born pretty late for our taste, around 1872 in Canada, and it does appear we have a few Canadians here. Unfortunately, James only lived until the age of 48 or 60. Records were kind of fuzzy, but neighbors haven't heard from James in 2 days, so concerns grew he hadn't been seen. His body was discovered near his home, and the coroner was called. He determined that James was blasting stumps, and something must have really went wrong because James was hurled 75 feet from the initial blast location. Dynamite sticks were found, so it was obvious what happened. James is kind of a mystery guy overall. No known relatives, family, XYZ. They think he had a sister in Cincinnati and a brother in Dakotas, but that's all that's really been found on his family history. No wife or kids as well. So here we have Nelson E Croshaw. I imagine this will be our worst example of vandalism and disrespect we've seen to date. And this is why historical cemeteries are in trouble. We've seen a lot of things on this channel and heard some stories. Anywhere from vandals digging up grapes for fun, logging companies driving over headstones, people using headstones for porch ornaments. Then we had that story at, Lafayette, 30 headstones in one night being destroyed. In this case, you can see there's some like oddly shaped circular nodules on his headstone right there. It appears at one time individuals were using his headstone as target practice with a gun from my readings. They were sort of like just shooting at it. From the picture on Find a Grave and what we see now, it appears Nelson was in the military and served in the state of Oregon. I did read he had a brother who also served at Fort Stevens in Oregon. Unfortunately, Nelson's brother, who we'll see during the tour, died at the age of 18. Fort Stevens sits along the mouth of the Columbia River and was built in Civil War times. Reading it, it got its name from General Isaac Stevens, who died in the Battle of Chantilly in 1861. Reports said that Stevens was carrying the American flag during a charge and was struck in the head with a bullet, killing him instantly. I guess as he fell, the flag wrapped around him, and he was found an hour later still clinching to the flagpole. Very epic death in history. One thing I noticed with this cemetery, all these cool little snow globes everywhere. You got Santa Claus here with little kids. I think there's another one over here. Little side trip on the video, but yeah, there's another one. Little guy, and somebody must have really liked Christmas, and that's okay with me. Alright, time for the tour. If you visit, be careful. Park down there. Don't park there. People rip through here. Anyways, there's supposed to be a white cross on one of these trees indicating that the cemetery's over here. That cross is gone. I think Find a Grave had a picture of it. But the path to the cemetery is pretty noticeable off the road. Not super hindered. Just gotta work your way up this hill. I would say bring a friend. I'm by myself, so that was probably a smart decision. But I did contact Marion County, asked them if I could visit, do my little thing, and they were pretty cool people. They did make me sign a waiver, so that was the first indication, like, uh-oh, how bad is this one? But nice people. So I think I counted 1, 2, 3, 4 headstones. I think online said 5, but I can't find the 5th one. Some American flags here, so maybe there's someone here. Looks like there's some type of handmade thing that once had a picture in it. Oh boy. It does look like someone clear-cutted, you know, everything at one point. Kind of recently, so someone out there might be still taking care of it. Maybe it's that Vietnam vet, I don't know. A lot of these things I'm seeing just unmarked. Here someone was visiting at one time. One lonely little flower growing there. And I believe this is the brother of Nelson, who died young at 18. What was that, Fort Stevens? And here is Nelson's headstone, which appears someone was shooting for fun and target practice, unfortunately. Very bad karma, if you ask me. And there is Mary's headstone here. I imagine that's her husband, Edwin, there, but Mary E Crochaw was supposed to be the last buried here in 1969. And that is it. A little in the forest, not too bad. Like I said, bring a friend if you come. What's this? Oh, this whole thing's concrete. I thought I found something, sorry. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this cemetery. It is forgotten for sure. I'd say abandoned for sure. Yeah, a little depressing video, sorry, but I hope you enjoyed the tour and some of the stories. Not a whole lot out there. So if you have any other recommendations for cemeteries to visit in Oregon or even Southern Washington, feel free to comment below. Hope you had a good one, and stay safe out there. Thanks for watching.